Hey everybody, I'm Kelly. We're here to do a fairly brief intro to yin yoga practice. This is going to be a much shorter practice than most of my other yin videos, but it's really just to give you an insight into yin yoga, a little insight into me and how I do these videos. I'm here to work on people's nervous systems. I have an incredible passion for all human beings' nervous systems. I feel like if we could all start to heal our nervous systems, we start to heal the world. Big, lofty goals. But that's what we're here for. Now, yin yoga is also going to work with your connective tissue, your fascia, your ligaments, your tendons. So you're going to get some good stuff there too. Yin is different than restorative. You will see in the two different videos. But today we're just going to do some basic yin yoga poses. We're going to hold them for about 90 seconds, where in my longer videos, we're holding them for 3 to 5 minutes. So part of why I want to do this is so you can see how my body is different than your body and how different my body works in some of these poses, even as somebody who does a lot of yin yoga. So you'll see one of the poses where I actually struggle, and the goal is not to struggle. And I work really hard on not struggling in that pose. And I want you to feel the same way if you find yourself in a yin pose that you feel like you're struggling a little bit more in. So we're going to talk our way through some of this. But again, we're going to keep it brief today. And if you're looking for more, you can check out some of my other packages on my website. Links will be below here. So let's get started. We're going to start with one of my favorite poses. Of course we are, because it's my video that I'm recording here. Of course we're going to start with one of my favorite poses. It may not be your favorite pose. I've got my whole pile of props over here. We're going to use them. So you're going to see me use them here in just a moment. But we're going to start in butterfly. All right, so butterfly is soles of your feet touching. And you can bring them in, but they don't have to be nice and tight. You know, in maybe a vinyasa class, you're bringing in your heels very tight. Yin, we're not trying to pull hard. We're softening. Your knees may be up here. You may be going, okay, Kelly, this is as far as I can get my knees down. That's fine. Next pose is the one you're going to see my body go, we don't do this. So let's say your knees are up here. I'm going to grab my bolster. I'm going to grab a blanket. I'm going to grab a block or two. I have two different sizes of blocks here. They're the same this way, but they are different here. We'll see what we use. So actually, I'm going to grab a couple of these blocks. So let's say your knees are up here. You've got your soles together, your soles of your feet together, and your knees are up here. I'm going to start with blocks under those knees. And maybe you need them up higher so that you can really support your knees. And then we're going to have our bolster here, maybe a blanket on the bolster, maybe a block on top of the blanket. My knees do go down, so I'm going to remove these, and I'm going to let my knees fall. The other thing about yin is that, let's say you fold over, don't need to do it with me yet, but let's say you fold over and your head hits this block, and this is as far as you go. And as you sit here, you realize, oh wait, I'm starting to feel as though things are loosening. And maybe I can remove the block and go further. That's part of yin yoga, is that as you sit in those poses, you sink into them a little bit more. So start with as many props as you want. There's nobody judging you. There's nobody telling you, oh gosh, you're using a lot of blocks, No, that's what we're supposed to do here in yin yoga. Use all the props you want, all right? And if in the middle of the pose you feel like you can remove one, remove it. See what happens. That's part of the process here. Maybe your knees are up here and you've got these blocks, and as the process is going, the practice is going on, you go, oh, I think my knees are starting to lower. Maybe I can try it here. Oh, yeah. Whatever works for your body, okay? So because I can get my knees down and because I can fold fairly well, my hips are feeling a little something today, but I'm going to use the bolster and fold into the bolster. You use as much of these things as you need to use, okay? So we're going to hold these poses for about 90 seconds. So we're going to start with butterfly, and we're going to sit up tall, take a nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to fold over. I want your head as supported as possible. I don't want you clenching, so I like to keep my hands up so I don't clench. But I want your head to not be floating in space if you can avoid it. You're going to keep taking nice deep breaths. Drop your shoulders and fall into this pose, trying not to use any resistance. Okay, we're going to slowly roll up. Everything is slow. Articulate your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Take a nice deep breath at the top. Ideally, you're already starting to feel it. One of the things I say in all of my videos, I bring it up often, is that I leave my hair down when I do yoga or yin yoga and restorative yoga. Partially because if I put my hair up in a ponytail, I'm going to have a big ponytail in the back of my head. And a lot of yin and restorative yoga is on our backs. And I don't want that big thing on the back of my head. I always have a band on my wrist. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have a band on my wrist in case I change my mind. If you want your hair up, if you have long hair and you want it up, do whatever you want. You can put it on top of your head. You can do whatever you want to do. I just let people know that you're going to see my hair and my face. There's something a little comforting about that for me. That may not be the case for you. Again, this is where you really start to understand this practice is about you. Do it your way. All right. We're working on your nervous system. If you're resisting in any way, shape, or form, you're not fully going to get into your nervous system. All right. Okay. So we're going to move into another forward fold. And this is the one where you're probably, I shouldn't say that. You're going to see me struggle a little bit more with it and need more in the way of props. All right. So we call this caterpillar. I like a good caterpillar. This is also one of the more challenging poses in yin for me. I'm going to use my bolster. I'm actually going to put a block under my bolster on my shins to kind of elevate my bolster to make it more straight, I am going to use a blanket. And I'm probably going to bring a block. We are going to forward fold into this. Same idea. You want your head as supported as it possibly can be. You want to take nice deep breaths. You want your shoulders dropped and allow yourself to sink into this pose. We'll see how much I sink in 90 seconds, but hopefully I will sink a little. So we're going to put our arms up. We're going to take a nice deep breath. Arms all the way up, stretch, stretch, stretch. And then on the exhale, we are going to fold over. Again, no clenching. Drop your shoulders and fall into this pose. All right, same thing when we come out of this. Take a deep breath and slowly roll up. Just allowing your spine to stretch itself back out. I moved my block a little bit in those 90 seconds. Wasn't bad. All right. You may not have moved yours at all. You may not have had any of this. Maybe you were all the way over. No rules here, right? Okay, we are going to roll onto our bellies. I am still going to use my bolster. I'm going to put this here so that you can see me, because sort of negate the process of video. I couldn't. So we're going to move into a Sphinx pose. And Sphinx in non-yin yoga is used more with your shoulders, your arms, your biceps, your forearms, where you're holding yourself up in a back bend. In yin, we'd like that to be a little softer. So I'm going to bring my bolster in, and I'm going to stretch my arms out across my bolster and really rest into the bolster. Now, I'm going to bring mine back a little bit further. The farther you bring it back, the more of a back bend you will have. Entirely up to you whether you have it much more forward or much further back. The goal here, same thing, to fall into this pose, not using muscle, relaxing your glutes. We have a tendency to squeeze them here. You want to relax them and your legs. And just sink in to this back bend and continue to do nice deep breaths. You're going to use a little muscle here in your arms, but if you can drop your shoulders and use as little muscle as possible. Okay, so very slowly, nice deep breath, and you can just move the bolster out of the way. And I'm going to suggest put your arms down, let your head fall, let your hair fall into your face if that's what you like to do. And take a couple of deep breaths, just sinking in to the earth below you. And we're going to push up to hands and knees slowly. And from hands and knees, we're going to come to a seat where we started. And that's your brief intro to yin yoga. It's 3 poses. Might have been a little challenging in some of them, or all of them, or none of them. Again, this is about you and your nervous system, and yin does give you some nice connective tissue work. But again, my goal really is the nervous system. So right now, hopefully, with a nice deep breath, you feel just a little different than you did when you started. And if you haven't ever tapped into your nervous system that much, it might be a weird sensation. And that's okay. That's sort of what we're looking for at the beginning here. So as always, if you have any comments, you can leave them below. If you are interested in more of my videos, you can head over to my website, which is also listed below. And if this is all you need, come back and do this over and over and over again. I'm very honored to share this space with you. I appreciate you being willing to work on your nervous system. And I'm glad you were here. Take good care.